This is exercise 4. In this exercise you can see that we will use the line angle function. We will start with this to define this first line, this horizontal line. This means our reference point will lie right here, so we move to the line sketch function and we draw a line from left to right. The y value is 0. In this case, take into account that you need to know the endpoint to the reference point in this case, because this line has a length of 90. So on the x2 value we will enter 90 and we'll click on OK. Now we will draw up this line with an angle, so we move to the angle function, line angle, and you will see you can enter a few values. Please take a look at this part. As you can see, a line, this line will be a line from 45 degrees if you look at this drawing, where 0 degrees is right here, like 90 is up there, 180, 270. So in this case we need to define this line, which would mean that it would point in this direction, so it would always lie between 0 and 90 degrees. As this is 135 degrees, we can enter an angle of 180 minus 135, which gives you an angle of 45 degrees, and the length is 50. The value of angle with z-axis is 90. If you draw in 2D only, never ever change this value. So we can now click on OK, and we see our line of 45 degrees. We can move on to this line. Again, we will use the line angle function. We saw that we could enter a value of an absolute angle compared to this 0 degrees. However, you can also define an angle compared to the last element you just drew up, which was this line. Then we have to activate angle relative to the chain end, and this would mean, as this corner is 90 degrees, we would add up 90 degrees to the 45, which would result in 135. But as we are defining this line relative to the last line, we do not enter 135 but just 90 degrees. And the length of the line is 80, so we activated this button which makes it relative to the last line, and we click on OK. As this corner is 5 and this one as well, we can move up to fillet. We move to 5 and we can hit the OK button, but instead of that we will click on all, which means all corners are being filleted with 5. So the next line is 90 degrees compared to this line, so we move to line angle and we again enter 90 as this one is active. The length of the line is not known, so we can estimate a value, like for example 80, and we get this line down, which would be the same as 225 degrees. We can fillet this with 15, and we move on to the horizontal line with the y value of 40. OK, and the line, no, we cancel, we move back one step and first try to fillet this corner with 20 and activate the sketch line function again and enter a value of, as this is 0, it would mean that this line would lie on x minus 10, as this is a fillet of 10, so we enter minus 10. OK. We can then fillet this corner with a radius of 10. OK. And now we need to fillet the last element with the first element, which would mean we activate closed chain, we move to fillet. As you can see, this is automatically activated, and we click on 10, and our chain is ready. So now if, for example, you would like to change this fillet of 15 into 12, what you can do is select this line, this arc, and this line. Tensor will now recognize this as a corner with a fillet. So if we move to radius and we enter 12, and we would activate replace all fillets, it would change the recognizable fillet into 12. So we click on OK, and it's now being altered to 12. As you can see, radius is 12. This was exercise 4. Please move on to exercise 5.